car has started the media blitz after his victory in the 55th running of the Great American Race. There he is, getting all tuned up for the hub.
For the second time, the Daytona 500 goes to Jimmie Johnson.
In his 400th start, five-time champ Jimmie Johnson wins his second Daytona 500. He'll put the win in perspective.
But the first race weekend of 2013 was full of storylines. Tonight, the hub has them all.
And a terrible crash coming to the finish.
Saturday's horrific crash brought fan safety to the forefront. Tonight, we'll talk to NASCAR about changes moving forward.
And in case you didn't...
It was a spectacular Sunday from Daytona Beach. Jimmie Johnson wins the 55th running of the Daytona 500, but it may not have been the biggest story of the weekend.
Contact! Jimmie Johnson off turn 4, and he's going to win his 13th start.
Not bad. I think we'll keep you for a while.
Jimmie Johnson's going to win the 48th Daytona 500. The Daytona 500!
And Jimmie Johnson is the 2006 NASCAR Nextel Cup Series champion.
We're going to tear it up tonight.
Jimmie Johnson wins his third consecutive championship.
Jimmie Johnson is a four-time,
Five-time champion.
Unbelievable! Yeah! Woo!
God almighty, you just won a 500.
We won the Daytona 500! Woo! Yeah! Yeah!
Jimmie Johnson is one of just 10 drivers to win multiple Daytona 500s. His first was in 2006. He's 8th on the all-time wins list with 61 Cup victories. And Jimmie is the 6th driver to win a race in his 400th start, joining a multitude of other big names in our sport. David Pearson, Dale Earnhardt, just to name a few. Your two-time Daytona 500 champion joins us now. Jimmie, thanks so much for being here, and congratulations.
Thank you. What an amazing day yesterday. And then last night, kind of letting it all soak in, spending time with my crew guys. It's been a fun, I don't know, 8 or 10 hours basically, and just a very special day for me and my family.
That was the question we got more than any other for you on Twitter. How did you celebrate, and have you slept yet?
I did get a few hours of sleep, better than other, championship years, and even the 500 before. I think I went with no sleep, and that didn't work well for the work day following. So I'm on a few hours of sleep and feeling well. Spent a lot of time with the crew guys. We kept the security guards at Daytona International Speedway busy last night, so it was highly entertaining.
Tweet. We're having fun.
Yeah, we had plenty of fun. So, and the security guards were good sports, so I appreciate that.
A lot of people want to know the differences between your first win and your second. Of course, in 2006, your daughter Evie wasn't born.
Yeah.
And before we started this interview, Jimmie ran over to the big video wall and he said, "Oh my God, my daughter's getting so big."
Everybody says it, but I mean, I'm with her every day. And then when I saw the image behind us, she is really big. She changes so quick, so fast, and she's a lot of fun.
It had to change the element of the win too. We saw your father holding Evie. You guys had a big embrace. That had to be a really special moment to have your family there.
It is. I mean, it's overwhelming, all the emotions that run through your mind. Team, family, friends, fans, there's so much going on, and you're in victory lane and the cameras are there and the magnitude of the Daytona 500 sets in. It's a lot to take in, and I have to say, between my first win in 06 there till now, I have learned how to kind of slow things down and enjoy the moment. And when you're a young driver and experiencing a lot of this for the first time, it goes by so quick, and you might not appreciate it as much as you would later in life or when it happens again. And I'm certainly enjoying this a lot more on many, many levels.
Well, one person that was not in victory lane with you as well in 06, of course, is crew chief Chad Knaus, who worked tirelessly to have this fast race car ready for you yesterday. How many hours did he put in? Well, hear it from Chad. Let's take a listen.
We work really hard at Hendrick Motorsports to prepare for the super speedway races, and we put a great product out there. I'm telling you, we worked, I know we worked at least at least 35 days straight on the car that we raced from the Daytona 500. I know I put in personally one day of 38 hours straight. I actually sent Jimmie a text. I said, man, I've seen 648 3 times today, and I haven't been to bed yet.
That's a long stretch.
It is, and I know my guys work hard, but that whole garage area is very impressive, the hours that each team puts in. And everybody at Hendrick Motorsports really focuses on those fine details, and that's what makes the difference.
And he was saying, when I see 6:48 on the clock, that's a little something between you two. When you see 6:48 on the clock, you guys text each other as a reminder of the goal.
Yeah, if it comes about, you know, Chad and I have a similar thing where the number just has a lot of significance to us, and alarm clocks, microwaves, you know, everything kind of corresponds with 48. And he did send me 3 text messages that day as he was putting in the time. So it's a quirky little thing we have.
It was interesting, the Super Bowl of NASCAR yesterday, a lot of star power. Stars that weren't even there were watching. Ryan Seacrest texted you, I was watching your win while I'm getting ready for the Oscars. And when I saw Ben Affleck up there last night accepting his second Oscar, it made me think of you, because he said getting the second one was very special because the first one I was so young, I really didn't know what it meant. I hadn't accomplished a whole lot. This one almost means more because I didn't know if I'd ever get here again.
That's very well said, and it is true on so many levels. And you do all that you can to enjoy it when it happens the first time, but you know, experience, age, there's so many aspects of growing old that help you embrace things and understand things, and that speaks to his point, and certainly what I've been through enjoying the second win of the Daytona 500.
Interesting watching Jimmie try to do donuts in the infield yesterday. Your car took a pretty big dip, and it reminded us of Carl Edwards trying to do something similar in the All-Star race a few years ago. We want you to compare the two. Here's Carl at Charlotte Motor Speedway just tearing the front end of this race car up.
When mine dug in, that's the first vision I had in my mind. What
Here we go.
To Carl. And all I want to do is get out there on the grass and have a little fun, you know? I mean, I saw the car this morning as we were putting it into Daytona, USA, and it's killed. So I'm sorry, Mike Helton. I'm sorry to my crew guys who put so much time in it. At least we don't get that car back for a year, and who knows what the rules package will be then, but it's destroyed.
The best part about being a Daytona 500 champion is?
Daytona 500 champion. I mean, I'm trying to keep it short and sweet, but you know what puts it in perspective is when you walk up in the big trophy they have there at Daytona and you see the plaques with every driver that's won the 500. And it gives you the goosebumps to see your name on that trophy with the heroes of motorsports. So very honored to be a champion, and to win it a second time is really neat.
The first time you won, 2006, you went on to win 5 straight championships. Could be a sign of things to come.
I hope.
Fingers crossed. Hashtag six-pack, right?
Yes.
You will be back later in the show to break down your race with Steve Burns, so we want to stick around for that. Still to come on the...
NASCAR Race Hub is presented by Ram, engineered to move heaven and earth. Guts, glory, Ram. Brought to you in part by Honey Nut Cheerios. Be happy, be healthy. And by Long John Silver's new cod and shrimp basket for just $5.99. That's what I like.
Elliott Sadler here with Larry Mack to play an abbreviated version of Are You Smarter Than... No.
I prefer Double Trouble.
Double Trouble is back.
That usually works for us.
So many storylines in the season-opening Daytona 500, the 55th running of the Great American Race. Let's take a look at the Ram race highlights, and history is made right from the start. Danica Patrick leads the field to the green flag, first woman to ever do so.
Yeah, she just couldn't quite lead that first lap, but she was right up there up front a lot.
Trouble, Elliott, right here, lap 33. Some good cars exit the Daytona 500.
Some big names out. You see Casey Kane getting turned around the trial, but it affects him. Kevin Harvick, right there. Tony Stewart, 3 of the favorites going into the Daytona 500.
Lap 73, Kyle Busch, bad day continues, falls off his jack.
Yeah, and went way back after that. Fortunately, a caution got him caught back up.
Take a look at this. Danica Patrick leads lap 90 under green, becoming the first woman to score a lap under green. Janet Guthrie did it, but it was under yellow, lap 138. The second big one, Brad Keselowski, Trevor Bayne, tangle. A lot of smoke.
Yeah, and they kept fighting with Brad Keselowski's car, and they finally got him back up there.
Carl Edwards caught up in that as well. Trouble now for the Toyota mainstays. Great day for Matt Kenseth goes south. Also, you saw Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr. on pit road.
And here we see great side-by-side racing between Jimmie Johnson and Brad Keselowski. Jimmie Johnson actually runs over a piece of debris but does not affect his car or the outcome of the race.
He crushed the restart. He had the preferred line, and he makes it count.
Yes, he did. Now, that caution right there we just saw, that's what bunched him back up for the finish of the race.
And there it is, the checkered flag for the 2013 Great American Race, the Daytona 500. Guys, let's take a look at the top 10 finishers. There's some interesting names in there inside the top 10 important runs for several of those teams, Larry.
I look at Regan Smith, I look at Michael McDowell, J.J. Yaley, teams that just struggle to get to the racetrack, struggle to qualify for some races, and there they get a top 10 finish. And trust me, what they made for finishing in the top 10, that's huge for the budgets of those race teams.
Two teams stand out to me right now, Steve, is Mark Martin and Ryan Newman. Both of those teams had struggling speed weeks with wrecking cars and getting in other people's problems, but managed to finish all the way to the end and get top 5 finishes. Great for those two race teams.
Let's focus right now for a moment on Jimmie Johnson. And Elliott, you said this win in the Daytona 500 spells trouble for the rest of the Sprint Cup competitors.
Well, you know, Jimmie Johnson is probably one of the most well-liked competitors that we have in the garage. He's such a great guy, very humble champion. But as far as a competitor, I think the 48 guys, it's no secret, they set the bar every year on how you should run. He's the guy you're going to have to beat when it comes down to chase time. With them winning the Daytona 500, really frees Chad Knaus up for these next couple races. And I'm thinking pit strategy, fuel stops, 2 tires, already gives them that automatic win and gives them the momentum that comes with winning the Daytona 500.
And Larry, historically, that 48 team, they are so quick to adapt. They won their very first COT race in 2007.
Yeah, they're quick to adapt whenever we have a major rule change or something major like this Gen 6 body. But the other thing, no matter what, they have a game plan and they stick to that game plan. We saw it throughout testing down there in January. We saw it throughout speed weeks. I think with testing and all the practice that the teams had, it was over 30 hours of track time, not including the races. And only one time during those 30-something hours did they get out there and just a little bit of a draft. I think it was on Saturday. They got out there with a couple of drivers just to kind of get the tape on the nose right. They made single car runs, and that totally surprised me. That's what they've been doing over the last few years as far as practice and testing speed weeks. But I think their philosophy, if we make this car faster in single car runs, it's going to be faster in the draft, and they never deviated from that, Steve.
Elliott, how about in the bigger picture, the confidence that this provides for Jimmie Johnson, even though he's a guy that's won the Daytona 500 before and 5 championships?
Well, I think anytime you can get off to a good start, and Larry hit on it about Hendrick and how they're adapting to this new Gen 6 car, just like they did the COT car. So anytime your team can win the first race out of the box with this new style of car is going to give you confidence. Anytime you can win this Daytona 500, like we said before, just gives you momentum, gives you a little pep in your step. Going to a track where he's had success at Phoenix, going to Vegas where he's had success at. This is, as a competitor, like I said before, is not good if you're trying to compete and compare yourself to the 48 car, because right now they're on cloud 9 and they feel good about what they have with this Gen 6 package.
And Chad Knaus and that 48 team, they will celebrate this Daytona 500 to about 8 o'clock this morning. It's out the windshield.
Right.
Vegas, Phoenix, and all the other races. Trust me.
All right, double trouble just getting cranked up. Danica Patrick started on the pole. Daytona 500 winner Jimmie Johnson rejoins us here in studio. We'll review yesterday's Sprint Cup Series season opener with Double J and ask him about the strategy he used to grab his second win in the Great American Race. Danica Patrick came home with an impressive and the winner of the 55th running of the Daytona 500, Jimmie Johnson, is back with us. And I enjoyed watching the questions that Danielle asked you. I want to ask about the race a little more specifically.
Sure.
And, Jimmie, I want to go to the end of the race. I read Brad Keselowski said when that final caution came out, you beat him back to the start-finish line by an inch. And he said when that happened, he said, I knew Jimmie had me. Did you feel the same way?
I did. That was a big momentum shift. I was on the bottom with very few cars, kind of holding my own, which was impressive to show the speed of our car. And then I had to aggressively use the side draft to stop the 2 and stop the 16 and playing the game that we have to. But when I look in the mirror, the 11 couldn't really break through that next car length and get to me and help me get by the 2 or gain control. So I hung on down there far longer than I thought I would or I had seen with other cars. And when the caution came out and I knew I was just ahead by a nose, I'm like, yes. Now just don't mess it up. That's the first thing within my mind is don't mess it up. But I had control at that point, and then that next restart I had lane choice, and that was very helpful.
Describe the role or the competition or however it worked between you and Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Well, throughout the race, we weren't around each other much. And as a restart would happen, it was a quick scramble to get in line. The green flag pit stops also led to, hitting your marks, getting to pit road. Pit stops had to be flawless. Even the strategy of when he took 2, 4, none played a key role in track position. So through all of that, I didn't see a lot of Junior. And I'm coming down the back stretch. I'm focused on the 16 on the last lap. And I hear 88, he's down low, big run. I'm like, where's he been? I knew he was in the top 5 based on my spotter reading me the running order, but I knew that he wasn't in the top 3. And as I pulled down to defend, he had a good run coming. I don't know how he got that much momentum, but he played it right. And fortunately, I was able to get down and kind of defend and get a run to the finish.
People will never remember that Matt Kenseth led the most laps. 86 laps.
I remember. He had a strong car.
I'm curious, if you're in a race, do you size up your competition? Because the reason I ask, you guys always, or you talked all during speed weeks about putting yourself in the right position.
Yep.
So you knew the 20 car was good. Would you have, do you think in your mind you would have known how to beat him had he not had engine trouble?
It really would have come down to, in some respects, the lane you were in on that last restart. That played a big role in things. If we didn't have that caution, your strategy beforehand on the green flag pit stop was key, and we set ourselves up for a fuel-only stop, which got us out in front of everyone. So I feel like we played the game exactly how we needed to. Chad called a great race, and we were in position. But depending on the lanes and how you lined up, that was going to set the tone. Coming into the 500, the 29 showed all the speed, but he was caught up in that first wreck, and I didn't have a chance to see him in action, really. But through the day, not only did the 20 have a good car, but Matt is really sharp with the draft and knows how to play it. And we worked together on the inside lane a few times and made stuff happen down there that I didn't think was possible.
I mentioned to you in Victory Lane yesterday, and maybe if you could elaborate a little bit more. You guys had such a specific game plan. You did very little drafting during the entire time we were down there. Did you know, was it a confidence thing that you knew your car was that good and you didn't want to put it in harm's way?
I mean, truthfully, we just didn't think the risk was worth it. It's hard to know the changes you make when you're on the track down there, if they're making the car faster or slower when you're in the draft, because the draft and the size of the draft dictates the speed. By yourself, you have the stopwatch to tell you if you're faster or slower. Now, wind conditions do play into that each day, and you got to factor that in. But with the new car and out there in a 6 or 10 car draft, you don't learn what you really need for the race. So we just looked at it from a risk factor standpoint and said it wasn't worth it, stuck to our plan, and our 500 car made it through the week just fine, and we were able to win with it.
The other thing you said in Victory Lane was that it was an honor to win, to be the first winner in the Gen 6 race car.
Yes.
So I want to spin it forward a little bit. Do you think it'll be a good race car for Phoenix? We're going to have a much bigger spoiler in the back. How do you think it'll race at Phoenix and then maybe Vegas?
I feel really good about it. I wasn't sure what to expect in Daytona, but I know that the styling of the car is, a big winner for everybody. But the shape of the car also allows us to create a lot more downforce. And the car is very comfortable to drive, very fast. I think we're going to see track records fall everywhere we go. And hopefully that comfort allows us to drive harder and to put ourselves in positions that we just couldn't before. And with all that in mind, I think that, Phoenix, that track is still evolving. It's going to be tough to really tell. But once we get to Vegas, it's a very seasoned track. The lanes have opened up. We can run all over the racetrack. I think we'll see some great racing as the year progresses and really as the teams learn these race cars. It is awfully new for all of us. Well,
thank you so much. We're honored that you would spend part of your day after the Daytona 500 championship.
Glad to be here, buddy.
Thank you. Thanks, Jimmie.